I want to share a situation that made me really upset, but um, my experience taught me how to handle it in a way that would be most effective. So, to set the situation up, for those of you who know me, know already, I'm very active when it comes to fitness, and I get up very early in the morning to train, whether it's to go out for a run or go to the gym. That being said, um, the one gym I belong to two gyms. One gym is for when I use for when I travel, no issue there. Not talking about that gym, but a local gym to me, which actually has the better equipment, and enjoy it. It's cleaner. It seems to have a problem at times with having somebody there to open up at 5 in the morning. And yeah, if it happens twice a year, whatever, it's an inconvenience. But if it happens once a month or it begins to trend that way, it's a problem. Now, as a guy whose career runs businesses, I understand that we're all human and mistakes happen. It happens, right? And I think as a consumer, as a customer, if you expect businesses to be perfect 100 out of 100 times, it's not going to happen, right? Like it may be 98 out of 100 times if they're perfect. But when human error comes into play, or something uncontrollable like an accident, an illness, I think as consumers we're pretty open-minded and say, I hope everyone's okay. But on the business side of it, as someone running a business and a consumer, I realize it's not so much about the mistake, it's about how the organization deals with it that makes all the difference in the world, right? So that's what I want to talk about. So this gym, last week, no one came to open up in the morning, so there's about a dozen plus people in the parking lot waiting. So that means people typically are getting up at 4 in the morning to get there at 5 to rush in, get their workout in, and start their workday. Thankfully for me, as I said, I belong to a second gym. There's a location 5 minutes away. At like 5 after 5, I made the call and went over there. Like it's like I'm leaving, going over there, and going about my day. Because I have good relationships with other members, I was receiving text messages and people really upset, like it's still not open yet. They ended up opening an hour later, and I counted 8 of us ended up going over to this other gym. I guess what I didn't realize is 7 other people had memberships to it, and it was interesting. So again, it's like, okay, well, this happened and it happened within the month, so it happened twice within a month, and it happened on a weekend, which is less annoying, but annoying, right? Like you drag yourself out of bed early to go to the gym on a weekend, and then they're not there. That's frustrating. But on the flip side, it is the weekend, so you're a little more flexible, hopefully, with your time. So, okay, so here's what happened. When this occurs, the gym does nothing proactively. They don't acknowledge it. They only wait until members address it with them directly. They don't proactively the next morning say, we're sorry, this happened. They don't say anything. So because this has happened multiple times, now members are getting very vocal. And I have learned that multiple members have sent emails through their website, as well as approached the manager, who sometimes works in the morning, and it didn't go very well. The emails were, responses to the emails were very defensive, and I'm going to show you an example. Someone sent me one, and I actually drafted, I had it, in the past I've written emails, but I thought I would take a different approach, and I'll tell you about that. So the initial email over was just like, hey, I've been here a long time, and or whatever the case may be. This seems to keep happening. Is what's going on? Just pleasant. And just saying like it's frustrating, but can you tell me why this is happening, kind of thing. And then the manager replied, and I'm gonna read you the reply because this individual sent me everything, and I actually ghost wrote the reply to the reply because my thought was they don't care, like, because they'll just tell the members. What I've learned is they'll just tell the members whatever, like it, tough. But again, as an experienced business guy, I know what will catch their attention, what the local public thinks, right? So that's where reviews come in, like Yelp and all these things. And so I'm going to talk about that in a second. So let's start with, if you're into this stuff, this is an interesting one, right? So, and how, it's kind of funny how it turned out. That's why I'm showing this. All right, so here's my thumbnail, right? I'm hoping. Actually, let's make that a thumbnail. Okay, so the person responded. So this is the gym manager responded to the initial email of saying, "Hey, what happened?" It was like a 2 cent. I tried to look for the email. I couldn't find it for some reason. I don't have it. So, and I took out, I hope I took out all the names and everything, the names of the gym and the names of the people. So the manager writes, "Good morning. Our opener had severe food poisoning and someone was able to get here 45 minutes late." It was more like an hour. "We do all we can and have many protocols in place. We apologize sincerely as we understand it's inconvenient." In bold, they write, "You can cancel, or we can cancel your account free of charge if you're not happy here." To me, that is a slap in the face. Slap in the face. It's basically saying, tough, you know what? If you don't like it, you can leave. And I'm pretty sure that they don't charge you anything anyway to cancel your membership. And it's not that people are unhappy there. They're unhappy with the doors not being open. They're actually happy to be there, but you're not letting them go in there when you say they can go in there. So again, we are doing all we are able to when unforeseen events do happen. Thank you for understanding. So, ironically, I know who was supposed to be working that morning. They have young kids working in the morning. And look, if this happened very infrequently, I would buy the food poisoning. Ain't buying it. I'm thinking someone overslept, somebody was out too late, whatever the case may be. So I said, when this member shared this response to me, I said, "Ooh, don't respond, let me do it." So here is what I wrote back. And I apologize about the formatting and everything. I just did a copy and paste dump from an email. So if the formatting's off, it's actually, I'll give everyone credit that like they actually do know how to write. It's just for whatever reason. But the bold was there. Okay, so I write back, "Hi," and I do put the person's name there. "Thanks for the quick reply and transparency. Certainly things happen and I hope your staff member is okay. However, as a longtime member who starts the day at 4 a.m., I count on the gym being open at 5 a.m. This unfortunately seems to be happening more regularly, including a recent Sunday morning. Can you provide some insight to what is being done to prevent this from occurring on a regular basis? I work at a local medical practice, and if we made a human error and didn't open our doors on time as advertised, I wouldn't be telling our practice members to cancel their membership, but rather we would be going above and beyond to make it right. What is Gym X," I changed the name so you don't see that, "doing to make it right with its loyal early morning members? Respectfully, XYZ." So I wrote that, this person sent it over and got a response. They write, "Hi, we are not telling you to find a new gym, but rather offering you an option of cancellation if you are unhappy here, which we thought would be very fair considering the circumstances." Like, that's ridiculous. Oh, you know what? It's like someone's over your house and they don't like it there, and you could say, "Oh, well, we won't charge you to leave my house." Like, and it's like, well, we like your house, but you're just not here to let us in. We actually don't want to leave. We want to be able to go inside. So this person is not hearing what was written to them. I don't know if they're being coached or I feel like if they're being coached, they're being coached by someone who's not really good at this, or they just are inexperienced. Now, this person is young. She's the manager there, and she's a personal trainer, which I'm sure she's phenomenal at. My experience has been people who run gyms are horrible with dealing with the public and running a business. That's why you see a lot of gyms go out of business and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, you know, like they say, like the best mechanics aren't good at running their own shop because they're great at being mechanics, you know. So anyway, so they said, as we said in the past, we have management on call whenever the gym is not open on time. However, management lives in Bourne and Dennis, so getting here may take longer. Staff at our 2 locations have a call system with management. Okay. Call system with management, like what? Okay. What is that to say? No one's at the other location. Again, we apologize. Like, so tired of, like, I have found when you're writing professionally like this, you apologize once. You don't keep apologizing, because it's not about the apology. It's about what actions are you taking to make it right. So focus on that. Again, we apologize. We have and are in the process of doing all we can to continually avoid the situation. So again, they're repeating themselves. We are a small family business that relies on 1 staff member each morning to open, not a large corporation with many staff members to fall back on. Guess what? Most of the gyms I go to or been to when I travel have 1 person, and they somehow are always open. Coincidentally, when I went to the alternate gym, I mentioned what happened to the worker there, just small talking, and they, like, their eyes bugged out of their head, and they said I would get fired, like, if I did that, like if I had people out there and I, like, rolled in an hour later or just no showed. So like, for example, if you are having food poisoning, like in the middle of the night, you call and text whoever your supervisor is, say, hey, I'm not gonna make it, like, and because this is all very reactionary. Again, we thank you for your understanding. The offer of free cancellation still stands should you need it. Should I need it? So I read this and I said, so this was a response to the email I wrote above, right? I saw this when my fellow member passed this along to me. Meanwhile, I'm getting blown up on text messages from people, because I think people kind of look to me because they kind of know of my business acumen a little bit, and just like, what would you do? Could you know? So I said, let me stew on this, and I said, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. And they write, have a wonderful day. So I thought, you know what? It's not getting through. They're defensive. There's no, like, there's nothing here. It's all about them. It's written in a way, it's all about them. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this. What are you doing for me as a paying member? All right, so I visited Yelp. And if you know who I am, you could probably find it on Yelp and figure out what's going on. So I write, as a longtime member, so this is now public facing, on a public facing forum, Yelp, and they have a page there and there's other reviews. And I encouraged others to go to Yelp. I write, as a longtime member, Gym X periodically has staffing issues with the employee that opens up at the gym at 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. on the weekends. Does not show up. This leaves a dozen plus members waiting in the parking lot, guessing when the doors will open or if they should go home. And honestly, things happen. It's about how a business handles them that tells the story. That's where this review starts. For the second time this month, the person opening the gym no-showed. Instead of Gym X using this as an opportunity to go above and beyond or wow members, they instead get defensive, testy, and full of excuses. The manager, L, I protected the manager's name even in this, somewhat, because if you go there, you know who that is. The manager, L, may be a fine personal trainer, but needs to spend more time learning how to speak to the public when such situations arise. All right, this coming from blah, 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 blah. When I cringe when I read it, it's okay. But I basically let L know that members talk because other members share this stuff with me. Heaven forbid Gym X would credit dedicated early morning members, but a simple stand at the door the next morning and proactively apologize would go a long way. Send an email, remember that part, Facebook post, or do something proactively to acknowledge the frustration instead of waiting on members to contact you upset. Hey, this is like 101, right? Like when you're a kid and you screw up, you know that, or from experience, you know if you fall on the sword, or if you put it on the table and go to your parents and say, hey, I just want to let you know you're going to get a call from XYZ because I broke their bicycle, or whatever, I broke a window. Instead of, oh, what'd you do all day today? Oh, did you hear about that window that got broken? I was nowhere near that. And then you find out it was you. You're so proactively, because if the gym reached out and said, we want to acknowledge the late opening this morning, our dearest apologies for the inconvenience. Well, guess what? You acknowledged it, you owned it, and now let's move on. Cool. But instead, they do nothing. It's almost like, well, let's just see how many people actually complain and we'll deal with them. So horrible. And by the way, and I'm going on a tangent, the owner of this gym is pretty much invisible. And quite frankly, I would be very visible just regularly. Like, work out with your members, at different times of the day and different weeks. So you kind of get exposed to everybody and be visible. So you can open, so it could say, you know what, pretend it's me. You know what, the gym opened late, but you know what, Ed's out there talking to everybody, explaining kind of what happened as he's working out and everything. It's okay. It's cool. It's cool. They're regular people. That's how you grow your business. So I said, imagine if you wrote an email to Gym X with your frustration, and the next time you came in, they said, grab a drink from the cooler on us for your trouble. That is customer service. That is wowing your customers. That is something memorable that members share with other members, instead of people pissed off, talking trash to one another about how poor Gym X customer service is. Yeah, again, it goes back to, you make a mistake, what do you do to overcome it? What do you do to overcome it? And how do you deal with it? So instead of like, hey, you know what? Like I reached out because I was really upset because I missed a workout and or whatever. I get up early and I had to go to bed late, so I was extra tired, and then I can't work out after all that. They're like, hey, go grab an energy drink, grab a water, grab a Gatorade, whatever. Cool. And lastly, when the owner gets involved, stop, I'll say it again, stop yelling at members. Multiple members have shared this. Yeah. So where the owner does get involved, so apparently the owner is the parent of the manager. I had no idea. And actually on the gym floor, got in the face of another member, because I guess this member was upset and was just like saying like, this is where family-owned businesses can be a problem, right? Because you got to learn how to separate it. Like, yes, if somebody was yelling at my daughter, if they're yelling about the gym and they're not cursing and threatening violence and saying anything physically or personally insulting, you have to teach your kid how to manage those situations, right? Now, if the person was like, F this, F you, F this place, whether you're the parent of the manager or the manager's boss, you intervene, right? So I've heard this before, that the owner will yell at people or pull, like, I think one time this happened before and one of my colleagues like posted it on social media and and tagged the gym in it. And I guess it got the owner, like next time the owner was there, like pulled the person into a room and said, take that off your personal page immediately. Right. I would love for the owner to come to me. Because one, I would say, you're not taking me into a private room. You can speak to me on the open floor right here. What do you have to say to me? Okay, so That is just truly unprofessional. And then, so on this review, I also write, we want Gym X to be successful. It's true. It's a great gym. The workers there are very nice. Granted, they need a little help in like training in terms of dealing with the public and like being proactive. Because, I mean, I'm telling you, like they're at the counter, like leaning against the wall, sitting against the counter, fiddling on their phone. And like when you're walking out, they'll only speak to you if you say have a great day. They don't proactively say to you have a nice day. So like there's a little to be desired there. But okay, fine. These are hourly jobs at a gym. I get it. But this is a nicer gym. It's not a trash hole. We want to have a fun gym community. We do. We don't want so when they talk about this as a family-owned business, well, treat your members like family. You're not doing that. Treat them like family, and we'll treat you like family. And then you'll be successful, and we'll reach our goals working out at your gym. So Gym X has every opportunity to come out shining in an unfortunate situation that seems to be reoccurring, but fails to do so each time and instead puts down members, encourages them to cancel. Nice. So that was that. So the order of events. That day, they were late, or open late. Emails from members went. Emails the same day came back. That same day, I ghost wrote that one email, and then the manager replied. That night, I put this up on Yelp, and I did screenshot it to a few of the members, just saying, FYI, if you want to catch their attention, go to Yelp, go to the review forums or whatever, and put something up. And my coaching was, don't trash them. Like I'm pretty much transparent, and I'm also basically instructing them, giving them the blueprint on how to make it right, which is ridiculous, but I felt like this is the way to do it. So get ready for this. The next day, at some point during the day, I personally did not receive this email. However, they do have my email because I get their email stuff all the time, like, refer a friend, or the newsletter, or welcome this new trainer, blah, blah, blah. So here we go. So Manager L writes, good morning. I do not have everyone's email, but I trust that you're able to share this with those who missed. You have my email. I get emails from you. I wanted to update everyone as I know how important it is to many of you. First, I would like to sincerely apologize again. Oh my God. I should go back and count. If I had more time, I'd go back and count my apologies. I don't care. We get it. You apologize. Again, on behalf of our opener for being late to open on Thursday. We know how important getting your workout in early can be to certain routines and schedules. We fully understand how inconvenient and disappointing it is for the club to not open on time. Okay, all right, now you're starting. I have personally been opening the club these past 2 days until we can put a better system in place. Okay, so now you're telling me how you're going to make it better. Okay, I'm starting to feel better. I also want to thank most of you for being understanding. Oh, so you don't thank the rest of us? It should have been written, we appreciate you for being understanding. Oh, I would love to mock this up. If I was maybe a different person, had more time in my hand and wanted to be a real a-hole, I would get out a teacher's kind of red font and write in the margins and send it back. We have a new alarm system now in place which will alert management if no one is in the building within 5 to 10 minutes prior to opening. Okay, awesome. You are again telling us what actions you're taking. So it's kind of weird how, she tells us what they're doing there, and then they say, again, it's not written very well, but we have given keys to several different trainers who are usually here for opening. Okay, all right, cool. We also have a buddy call system now, meaning that our 2 locations will call each other to ensure that the club gets open on time. I am personally on call every morning, ready if need be. Awesome. Like, great. That, you know what? This should have been a proactive email before responding to anyone else's email. Like, this should have been what went out. Again, we fully understand your frustration. We see it, and we are doing the best we possibly can do to avoid these situations. Okay, I have done nothing but work on these new policies since Thursday morning and will continue to do so until they can go into place on Monday morning. We do not take this lightly in the slightest. We love our members and want to make you happy. I thank you again for your understanding and apologize sincerely. Okay, L. So they've never actually have written an email out to members for this stuff. And I'm telling you, I was like on a thread responding and saying, forwarding this email when it got forwarded to me and say, hey, you do have my email. And, you know, and then mock it up, but I'm going to let it go there. And, you know, realistically, I am prepared. I haven't been to that gym since, because I had some, I went to the alternate location. The alternate location has multiple locations. That sounds confusing, and one's closer to the new location. So I had a busy morning schedule. So just ironically, I went to those other ones, but I plan on being back there tomorrow. And if they ask me to leave, I'm prepared for that. You know, I have another gym lined up, if they're, which would be totally unprofessional, which would be a very bad PR move, because my Yelp review will have a part 2, and the part 1 will also go onto all the other, like, I think there's Angie's List, you know, there's Google, there's a bunch of others, there's Facebook, of course, but just because people shouldn't be treated this way. And hey, look, human beings get defensive, like, but when we mess up, we need to own it, and like, stop apologizing, because you apologize every time. But what members are saying right now, a bunch of them came to me and said, my Yelp review triggered this email. And there's a couple of clues, right? One, they've never ever sent an email out to acknowledge something like this at all. Never ever. If you email them, they'll email you back privately, but they never sent this. I also feel like this has not gone out to every member. They probably tried to figure out who were the people who go in the morning, you know, crew, because they like probably were afraid to rock the boat in the afternoon. Like, oh, like, what's going on in the mornings? I think actually if the whole membership base got the email and it was crafted a little bit better, we're on the right track with this for sure. But if it was crafted a little differently, they may say, sounds like a little bit of a mishap in the morning, but cool. They have a plan in place. That's good customer service, right? So that's clue number 1. That these things never go out like this to a blanket audience. Number 2 is I got left off of it. And on the Yelp review, you see my name, Ed D, and you see the town I live in. It is very obvious it's me, and I didn't want to make an anonymous post because they lose a little thunder, right? So when I scan my ID badge tomorrow morning, and I get asked to step into an office, I'm going to say, no, we can speak right here, because I want everyone to hear what you have to say to me, if it's the owner. And I'm a calm, cool, collect guy. So what would be funny is if this guy starts yelling at me, then everyone can see this person reacting, and quite frankly, the cell phone might come out and I might start recording it. Imagine that. Oh man. Okay, well, this was a long video, but I hope for those of you who are out there who are in management, customer service, anything customer facing, took something away from this. You might be like, oh yeah, this is common sense, Ed. This is like, I really get this, but interesting story. But for those of you who are earlier in your career, I ask you, like, well, one, no one expects you to know everything. Like where I got to, it's all trial and error, experience, learning, learning from others, learning from my own mistakes. But what I say is the one quality that you can have out of the gates early in your career is do not get defensive. Listen. People are not attacking you unless they F-bomb at you and flip out, but they are not attacking you. They're holding you accountable for a service that they are paying for. So when you respond with defensiveness and arrogance, saying, oh, we'll let you cancel for free, kind of thing, it goes over like a lead balloon. Think of a way to take a negative situation and make it a positive, memorable moment. Like I use the example, if someone wrote in upset, and if the response is like the next time they come in, like, hey, you know what? I heard you. Here's what we're doing. This is why I'm here early in the morning. These past couple mornings. You know what? Grab a Celsius out of the cooler for yourself, for your trouble. Cool. Now I'm bonding with my members versus combating with them. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I know we deviated off the normal path for the channel, but these things to me, if one person out there watching this video learns something, then that's my goal, right? My goal is not to actually physically beat down this business. That's why I took their names out and all that stuff. My goal is to use a real life example and maybe arm somebody with something, an experience that they can apply for their own life. All right, well, we'll see you next time. Again, thanks for watching. And don't apologize 20 times when you do something wrong or you mess up. And see you soon.